Moving on to politics now. Ahead of the November 6th Anambra State governorship election, the war of words from contestants is precipitating a titanic electoral contest. The candidate of the Young Progressive Party, that's YPP, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, is miffed by the comment made by Professor Charles Soludo of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, that WAEC certificate holders should not be allowed to govern the states. Ubah is challenging the professor to a public debate to test the capacity to govern the southeast states. Wow, do you know what is this? I don't know. Professor Soludo, former CBN governor,
yes,
tested and trusted, and another businessman.
Best graduating student,
yeah,
first class student, you know.
Gotten all sorts of laurels in his 30s.
When he begins to talk, he can keep you spellbound for up to 3 hours. I've witnessed it myself. It's not a matter of, and it will sound so believable, except you have made up your mind that, look, what this person is pushing is not the right thing. But when you know it's a teacher, you know, when he begins to talk, somehow you are arrested. So when I heard that Ifeanyi Ubah was challenging him to a debate, I kept asking myself that what is going on? A debate?
With the professor of economics?
That's taking the joke too far, honestly. He had his point. I agree with his point that, look, everyone does not have to be professor to hold a doctorate to rule. We've had leaders in our country who are not among the best educated, but they use some of the best educated, because if you surround yourself with the right people, your government will still be able to make impact. I agree that it makes sense to put educated people in government, to encourage educated people to be in government. Yes, it makes sense. But I disagree that only educated people can rule and can deliver good governance. The first thing that you need to deliver good governance is your conscience has to be, you have to be faithful to your conscience, you have to be honest, you must have integrity, and you must not be selfish. So if you are not selfish, you'll be able to also bring in the right people. Surround yourself with the right people. Those right people, they will work for you. We had a Brazil that his president was a cobbler. You know, cobbler, somebody who mends shoes. That's a cobbler. And he became president of Brazil. So he does not, you don't have to be a PhD holder to rule the people and rule well. It's your honesty that matters, and the readiness to hunt for the best and get those best to work with you. You know, that is what matters most. Most of the time, we are not interested in merit. We don't want to use people who are truly brilliant because we think that, no, they won't listen to us. So he has a point, but yes, true. Occasionally, we see people who are not educated who excel in government. But it is not in all cases. It's not all the time. In my view, we need brilliant people to come into government. And I've seen, even in this country, I've seen a man who was truly popular, very popular, but because he didn't go to school. And the people who were promoting him at a point had to tell themselves that, look, how does this man treat files? The people want him, he's extremely popular. That person was a candidate in one of the Northwest states. I will not mention that person. In the end, the powerful man who was behind him said, no, it's better we don't present this person. So the party dropped him, although the party paid
that price.
They paid the price because he did not, the candidate that they now brought failed to win the election. But you need brilliant people in government. But I disagree that only, in all cases, only the brilliant people can excel in government.
All right, I take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Still journalist Hangout. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still counting down to the Anambra State governorship election and the big bat between Professor Charles Soludo of the All Progressive Grand Alliance and the senator representing Youth Progressive Party. And when you look at Chief Ubah, a businessman and someone that is
very successful in business,
businessman, everything, and for him, it was a unique thing to come out under YPP, not APC, not APGA, not PDP, and he became a senator. That means it's like a one-man riot squad. Talking in terms of grassroots appeal and everything, it's people, they know him, he's from Inewe.
They're comfortable with him. I think what we are witnessing is just the first leg of what's going to provide us with entertainment till the election in November. Because, as you know, all is fair in love and war. And if you can use your opponent's shortcomings, if it's a shortcoming in the first place, all well and good. I agree that it's good to have very educated people in government, but sometimes you also need people with native intelligence to provide the counterbalance when it comes to leadership. Don't forget that the man who wrote a book on failed states also failed when he was given a state to run, and he had to run away. So sometimes, as my people will say, overbook can even kill a system. I think what the Honorable Senator is saying, indirectly, is the fact that when faced with the professor in front of his own people, he can hold his own. And that's something GKB.
He can point out what he has done.
We'd like to see.
I think it's right on that score.
Let's look at it from the constitutional point of view. The minimum standard is a WAEC result or something equivalent to that. And a lot of people have been saying this. Say somebody that wants to occupy, I don't know about governorship, but for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that the standard should be raised a little bit.
Yes.
More than this.
Yes, I think a time in future we should see an amendment to the Electoral Act, to our Constitution, that will ensure that we can raise the bar. It diminishes us as a people to even say, look, this is the minimum standard.
60 years.
We've got to do something about that. And the holy books also preach that we should seek education. In fact, the fourth revelation to the holy prophet of Islam was that he should read. Read. That was the fourth revelation to him. And Prophet Muhammad also admonished the faithful to even go as far as China. Yes.
To seek knowledge.
To seek knowledge. So, knowledge is not something that we shouldn't aspire to have. Yes, occasionally we see people with little or no education, they excel. You know, having studied the environment, they dominate the environment afterwards, they excel. I know people, big politicians today in our country with little or no education, but they are even better than many people who are educated in terms of the way they run their states and all that. You know, and every time they are given an opportunity, they do well. And they have little or no education, you know. So, an education is not simply Western education. So, we have to get that right. He was saying something that I found amusing. That's the YPP senator saying, look, even the people that Professor Soludo is banking on to finance his election, that a good number of them did not go to school. You know, so what he's saying directly is, look, so you can take money from people who did not go to school to fund your campaign, but you can as well diminish those who did not go to school by saying that Anambra is too sophisticated to be handed over to someone who has just a school certificate. I think in the final analysis, what the people want to see is committed leadership. Committed leadership, leadership with capacity, and as I've said before, it is not education alone that can deliver capacity. Even experience, simply working with other people, you can learn on the job and become a good administrator yourself. So, but if I still must make a choice between the educated person and the one who is not educated to be my leader, I will choose the one who has education, because education enables you to have a fantastic worldview and be able to treat matters a lot on their merit. You know, you have the education would help you to navigate some treacherous situations, you know. So I believe that we do not have a choice.
Peter. Peter is calling us from Asaba in Delta State. Thank you for joining us, Peter.
How are you? Good evening.
Good evening, Peter.
I greet DJ and yourself.
GKB.
Thank you, sir.
And the other gentleman in the studio.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. I listen to you perfectly. And hello?
Hello? Yes, go ahead, please.
I listen to you perfectly. And I heard your GD and yourself and the other gentleman discussing the credentials of the two persons involved. What I want to say, credentials doesn't matter. Like GD said, you look at the background the person is coming from. Yes, I agree that Soludo has been our central bank governor for many years, and he has done well. He has a wide and global knowledge about economics and coming down to the microcosm of the state. I agree. The other gentleman is just picking up, but they don't use the delivery of democracy that matters. So what I want to say, we should not look at certificates. The constitution is clear that anybody who has to start, even with a G2, what do you call it, failure of suicide can even become president of Nigeria. So that's why they are both qualified.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. I think we'll leave it there. Anambra, we'll be counting down to that election. It's going to be very interesting.
INEC has said that by September 7, it will come out with the final list of contestants in the election.
September 7.
September 7.
That will be just less than a month.
Less than
the election.
No, less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months.
The election is first week of November. Yes.
So whatever court case you are going to bring, Jankara injunction.
No, hopefully by that time, because INEC needs to print the ballot.
Yes.
So
this is so.
If by this time we don't know all of those who are contested,
yes,
how does INEC prepare sufficiently? So by September 7, I'm hoping that the issue of who is contesting, the legal battles will have been resolved, and then INEC will come up with a list. The people ought to, at least 2 months to election, know who is contesting and be able to prepare to vote for such people.
All right.